Alright, welcome back, guys. So it is a little bit windy out here. Every once in a while the wind will pick up. So not a whole lot of audio will be done out here, and I'll do most of it kind of indoors where there's less wind and I actually have a microphone. My microphone's a little bulky and hard to bring with me. I don't have a portable one quite yet. But today we're going to be going over the number one secret to improve your hard run days and make yourself feel better during your hard run days. So I just finished a medium long run. Normally I'd recommend doing this after an easier run, but for the purposes of posting it when I normally do, I had to kind of make the video today. So finished a medium long run, got a good warm up there, and then we're gonna jump right into what we call, wait for it, strides. All right, you guys may have seen my secret sauce is strides. You'll probably never hear me say that again, especially with my shirt off. Hey, it's almost like 90 degrees out here. Can't keep a shirt on. Alright guys, first things first, make sure you guys get your drills in. You want to get your easy run in, then do your drills. So you're nice and warmed up, ready to go, because we're going to be going fairly quick, 800 meter to a mile pace, and that's an easy way to pull something if you're not warmed up. So let's get drilling. Alright, so there are also three main reasons I do strides. First and most important reason that most people kind of overlook and probably don't understand is that I'm doing strides to increase muscle tension. So that's what makes you feel snappy and poppy the next day, is having that extra muscle tension. Which I'll go over a little bit more and explain the science when I'm indoors again. But the second reason is it works on running economy. So when you're running at a faster speed, typically you can work running economy a little bit easier. So it's just working that higher end stuff, really kind of teaching your body to be more efficient. And the third kind of goes along with that, and that is going to be working like kind of running form, running efficiency is what I would say it is. It's very similar to running economy, could even fall in the same category, but I kind of separate the two, and I consider economy and efficiency and form to be a little bit different. But yeah, it will help you with your running form. It's a good place to work on running form. So that third reason, good place to work on running form. Kind of focus on it with when you're running at a faster pace, as opposed to doing easy run days when you're doing strides. You're not going to get much running economy work just because you're going so slow, pace-wise, and relative to what you're probably doing, it's pretty slow. So yeah, we'll continue on then. Alright, so these strides, typically what I have most of my athletes do is do anywhere from like 15 seconds to 20 seconds per stride. And these strides are going to be done at 800 meters or 800 meter pace, race pace, up to mile race pace. So typically maybe I'll start them at 2 mile race pace if they're just getting back into it after a break, and then work down to mile 800 meter race pace. By the end of the season, definitely 800 meter race pace per stride. It's what I've always kind of learned and what's worked best for me personally and my athletes. So After a stride though, after you finish one stride, typically you want to take about a minute rest to a minute 30 rest. I think it says that in Jack Daniel's book or something like that. But that's what I've always done as well, and what I've learned and what I've read and stuff like that. And then when we are kind of in between strides, mill around. Sometimes I'll even throw strides in the middle of my runs. Like, so if I'm doing a easy run, I'll throw it in the last half of the run. I'll be doing like 20-second strides, minute 30, easy jog, 20-second stride, minute 30, easy jog. Typically, what I try to get at the beginning, right when I'm starting, I do like 3 strides, and then as I'm kind of progressing, just add a stride every like week. So you have 4 the next week, 5 the next week, 6 the next week. Typically I stop at 6. Sometimes you could have a purpose for going for more strides, but 6 typically does the trick when you're trying to make yourself feel better for the next day. But yeah, that's kind of typically what I do. And we'll continue on. Hello everybody, welcome to my humble abode. So, as you guys heard, and as I just heard right now on Premiere Pro when I'm editing my video, the wind's bad. So, gonna kind of go over essentially what I was talking about out there, and maybe expand on it as well, just a little bit more. So, when we're doing strides, the number one reason for doing the strides is muscle tension. So, a good analogy, if you think of your muscles like rubber bands. So when you stretch a rubber band, it has that kind of like, it wants to come back together. You stretch it out like this, and then the rubber bands come back, or my fingers want to come back closer to each other when I'm holding the rubber band. So when you stretch the rubber band out, your muscle's the same thing. So you stretch that out, and then it wants to come right back in. So that's essentially kind of what muscle tension is. And ways to improve muscle tension for this is probably universal kind of all around, but especially for runners, is to do some like explosive quick stuff essentially. So that's kind of what the strides hit. So when you're doing some very aerobic kind of running, like an easy run day for example, like I was talking about in the video, you want to do these strides after your easy run days, because easy run days actually reduce muscle tension typically. Steve Magnus has a great book on all this, and this is kind of where I've learned all this. If you guys ever wanted to get really deep in the science of running, it's literally called The Science of Running. So check out his book. I love it. I swear by it. It's actually my favorite book that I've read so far. So, but if we're going back to muscle tension, essentially, when we do an easy run, it loosens you up. You don't have as much muscle tension. But when we are doing a like stride or a faster workout or something like that, we're actually increasing the muscle tension. So what this does for the next day, if you increase your muscle tension, it gives you more of that rubber band snap back. So essentially when you're running, it is good to have that snap back because it helps the muscles perform the actions, especially in the hamstrings, in the posterior chain and stuff like that. So with that knee joint, in the quads, maybe muscle tension is not as important, But in those hamstrings and stuff like that, where you're getting a lot of runners get their power, we're going to want that muscle tension. So that's essentially what muscle tension is, why it's important. And then going into running economy, we really want to have good running economy at higher speeds, especially if you're a track runner. If you're a marathon runner, maybe this isn't as important. It's still good to get strides in for speed purposes, but you're not going to work as much of your running economy for marathon races. You have to be normally running the pace you're going to be running in a race. So typically I just say for pretty much all track athletes, it's a pretty good idea to get strides in to work on running economy, because you will be running quicker paces, especially in the race and so on. But if even you're running 5K, 10Ks on the roads. So keep that in mind with strides as well. Third reason. So the third reason, I kind of was going over and you really couldn't hear me because the wind really picked up right when I was explaining the third reason, is we want to be working on our form. So, and this just makes us a more efficient runner. It's easier to work on form when you're at faster speeds because you need better form to run those faster speeds, essentially. It's kind of the way I've always learned about it and the way I've kind of always taught it as well. So when we are running our easy run days, it's good to work on form still, but when it's less relevant, again, with the running economy, to what you're going to be probably most likely doing, or when form is the most important at the end of a race when you have a kick. So what these strides do is essentially get you up to speed so you can run at those finishing speeds or track speeds and also work on your form. So it takes a conscious effort to work on the form, but it's also a very good thing to work on when you're doing strides. And something just to keep in mind, work on one thing at a time. Pick one thing every time you go out for strides to work on. So like arms, I always drop my arms down. I try to keep them a little bit higher up so I can, and just driving those elbows back so it gives me a little bit quicker turnover and stuff like that. Because I have a really long stride and I drop my arms down quite a bit, and it just lengthens those strides. That lengthens that stride out a little bit more. Let's see. What else did I not go over in the video? I was trying to do this without notes, but I think I'm going to have to take a look at my notes. Give me 1 sec. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, really important fact that I totally just missed is too much muscle tension. Going back to the number one reason that I have. Too much muscle tension can be a bad thing. So, essentially, have you ever pulled a muscle? A lot of the times, I feel like, there's a lot of reasons for straining a muscle, but a lot of times it could be due to maybe having too much muscle tension. So doing strides every day is not a good thing. If you got to kind of evaluate if you need strides, especially approaching your big races. Like 2 weeks out, just go day to day, and how you got to get a good feel for how your body, like your best races. So throughout, like, let's go through you have a whole track season, right? So you got to kind of get a good idea of what a good race feels like, and then those really good races that you did really well, pay attention to how your muscles feel and how like snappy they feel, how poppy they feel. Poppy. All right, I've been saying some weird things in this video, but just make sure pay attention to how your muscles feel, and then kind of go from there. Like if you have a bad race and you just feel flat and your legs feel like jello, then that shows you probably didn't have enough muscle tension. So once you get a good idea for what it's supposed to feel like, kind of go as you're coming up on your major race and day to day assess what your muscles should feel like. If they're feeling flat one day, you need to go do some strides. If they're feeling maybe a little too tight, like you just need to stretch, then stretch. Don't do strides. And do some aerobic running. That's going to allow you to loosen up that muscle tension a little bit. And then you should be stretching all the time anyways. That's going to help you prevent from increasing your muscle tension a little too much. So it's a fine balance. It's all this balancing act, and that's kind of why having a coach is also another good idea. But if you're just doing your own training, maybe grabbing the training plans off my channel, you gotta pay attention to how your muscles feel for the best performance. There's a lot that goes into your performance. This is one of those aspects, and this is something that I really feel like is going to help you in your hard run days. It's really going to help you excel and just feel better in those hard run days, but also races. So races, I've always considered those the hardest day Like, you should be feeling like your races are the hardest day. Maybe mentally you're more ready, but like physically it is the hardest and most taxing day of the week. And I also treat it like a whole nother workout that actually I give a lot more rest from than a standard workout. Oh, and also one more thing with races. Make sure you guys do strides before workouts and races. It's more of a warm-up purpose, get your blood flowing in the legs and everything like that. But strides, super important for races, super important before workouts. And then this, I'm mainly talking about in this video though, the importance of strides throughout the week. Besides workouts, besides races, to kind of allow you to hit those harder run days easier, better, more efficient. I don't know. You know what I mean. So I'll catch you guys. Oh, I almost forgot. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for more great information. Really helps me out. Really helps me keep motivated, keep pushing out this content. Yeah, so if you guys want more of it, just like and subscribe. There's a little, it's on the bottom, right below. Oh, damn, I think I'm always pointing the wrong side of the screen. It's in this corner? I feel like it's in this corner. Maybe it is this corner. I don't know. It's a little roadrunner in the bottom of the video, here. Or you can just hit the red subscribe button, just scroll down a little bit below that. And there's also a little thumb button. You should hit that too. That's below the video. This side of I don't remember. One of the two. Alright, catch you guys later.